On the menu today, we've got a healthy, low-calorie pizza recipe that has a perfectly chewy, crunchy crust, a dynamite homemade sauce, and some creamy, buttery mozzarella cheese to bring the whole pie together. And the best part about this recipe is that the entire pizza has under 500 calories. Here's how to make it. First things first, we're gonna work on the crust for our pizza. So as you're seeing here, in a big time bowl, we're gonna add about 3/4 of a cup or 84 grams of some self-rising flour. Then after we've added that to the bowl, we're gonna add around 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum to give our pizza crust a nice chewiness. And then once we've added that, we're gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder and then 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder to add some flavor. And now at this point, we're gonna whiskify all those ingredients together, and then when they've combined with one another, we're gonna add around 3 tablespoons or 50 grams of some unsweetened almond milk. And by the way, you can use any milk that you want, but almond milk has the lowest calories, so that's why I won't fit for my pizza. Anyway, after we've added that, we're gonna use our spatula to work our ingredients into a crumbly dough, and then we're gonna use our hands to form a ball of dough out of those crumbles. And you should end up with something that looks like this after you've worked that dough together. Now, with that ball of dough, we're gonna add it to some plastic wrap, get it all nice and cozy in there, and then set it next to our stove. Then we're gonna crank the heat of our oven up to 550 degrees, and when the temperature reaches about 500, we're gonna move our ball of dough back over to our work area, coat our hands with some flour, as well as our rolling pin, and we're gonna start rolling the dough out on some parchment paper. With that said, we're gonna try to work the dough out to somewhere around 10 to 12 inches in diameter. The final low-calorie pizza ends up being about 9 inches, like I said in the beginning of the video, but we'll wanna give ourselves some extra wiggle room just so that we can roll some up into a crust. And a pro tip is to actually use a 7-inch bowl or something around there to help guide you with forming the crust into a circle. Just lightly pressing that bowl into the dough can really help you get the right shape and size out of it. Anyway, after we formed our crust, something optional that I like to do is brush it with a little extra virgin olive oil and then hit the edges of the crust with a little garlic salt. Honestly, it makes it sort of taste like a breadstick, and it is so good. Now, after we've done that, we're gonna have a little arts and crafts time, and we're gonna cut away any of the extra parchment paper from around our low-calorie pizza crust. Then, when we've done that, we're gonna pop it on a pizza stone and par cook it for just about 3 minutes. Now, while the crust is cooking and cooling, I'm gonna whip up a quick homemade low-calorie pizza sauce for the pizza. And this is super customizable, so you can kind of just use this as a framework for your tastes and preferences. With that said, I'm gonna add around 1/2 cup or 120 grams of a no sugar added tomato sauce to a bowl. Then I'm gonna add some flavor by adding a little onion powder, garlic powder, and dried basil. And then I'm gonna sweeten my pizza sauce up without adding any calories by adding around 3/4 of a tablespoon or 9 grams of a 0-calorie confectioner sweetener. Then, as you're seeing here, we're just gonna give that a quick mix until all those ingredients combine. And then I like to give it a taste just to make sure that it's good to go. Now, at this point, I'm going to add my homemade low-calorie pizza sauce to my homemade low-calorie pizza crust, and I'm gonna evenly spread it out on there until it's completely coated with the sauce. So now that that's looking good, it's time to add the mozzarella cheese, and we're gonna add just less than a cup or 100 grams of it to the pie. Having said that, I actually like to use a combination of some part-skim mozzarella and some fat-free mozzarella to cut down on the calories, but not on the flavor. And don't sleep on using a blend of cheese like this to make your pizza. It is a great way to keep things yumma, but also low calorie as well. Anyway, once you've got your cheese added to your pizza, it's time to add your toppings. And you know, this is totally gonna be up to you and what you like, but for my pizza, I just kept things traditional today and went with some pepperoni. Now, once you've got your toppings added to your pizza, it's time to get it in the oven and bake it for around 8 minutes at 550 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the temp that we preheated our oven to earlier. Then, after that amount of time, you should end up with an absolutely tasty, healthy, low-calorie pizza like this.